Chapter 7. Not only did the water droplets cascading down feel good, but so did Caleb's hands as he lathered and repeated. And repeated. I normally wouldn't shower with a man on a first date, I sighed as his hands massaged.
This isn't a first date,
he said, as his massaging hands descended.
I promised to take you out on a proper date.
Then what is this? I asked, wondering if his hands were going to stop soon. They were quite low as they glided smoothly on soapy skin.
This is fun.
Fun should happen on the third date. It's the standard. Or at least it was, I said, not really sure what the standard was or even if there was one. He nibbled at my shoulder. Maybe the second date, I countered myself, cursing the vibrations that rippled through with each touch. How could any sane woman resist this torment? His body pressed against mine, leaning me back against the wall.
Not until the second date?
He asked as his downward traveling hand found its resting spot at my core. His finger dipped and teased, stealing my breath. Maybe the first date, I rasped, countering myself again. I had no idea what number date it was or if it was a date at all, and at this point it didn't matter. He dipped and circled, sending my desperate body into a whirl of desire.
I can't wait that long, kitten. I need you,
he said, kissing my throat while continuing his lower assault.
I want you. Only you.
He did put forth a good argument. It's hard to resist such sound reasoning. No, we can't miss steps again, I thought as his lips pressed to mine, taking over any internal protests.
I have a compromise,
he whispered on my lips. What's that? I asked, stealing a kiss before I put on the brakes. A smile played on his mouth as it traveled down.
You'll like this compromise, kitten.
When he finally traveled low enough that he was kneeling, he looked up and said,
Hook your leg over my shoulder.
I hesitantly complied because I knew what he was up to. I gave in, knowing my baby steps just flew out the window. It was hard saying no to something I wanted so badly. To someone I wanted so badly. We should reconsider the compromise, I rasped.
No.
He smiled wickedly as his head dipped lower and, holy Toledo.
You should wear one of my hoodies,
Caleb suggested when I squeezed into Maya's shirt. I looked down at the sparkling pink shirt. You don't like it? It wouldn't be my first choice, but it's a rather happy shirt.
I love the shirt,
he said, skimming his fingers along the shimmering pattern splayed across my chest, sending tingles through the areas he'd thoroughly satisfied only moments before. I had no regrets. Although I was the only one satisfied and knew it was only a matter of time before, well, you know.
It's just that we're trying to be discreet when we look for Jessica. Your shirt will light up the whole block.
I guess you're right, I said. And since you insist this isn't a date, I don't need to dress up.
Does that mean sex is off the table? I'll have to rethink if this is a date.
He mocked, yanking a dark hoodie from the closet. It's not a date. And, yes, sex is off the table, I said, though I knew the action in the shower could technically be considered sex. Better not to reflect on it. And, really, he had the power to change my mind with a single kiss. He knew full well what power he had over me. Caleb peeled off my shirt, stopping my thoughts. I was going to wear the hoodie over Maya's shirt, I said, reaching for my stolen shirt. His skill at disrobing a woman was scary. Again, something not to reflect on.
Too late?
He said as he flung the shirt and tugged me close. We were together with skin-to-skin contact. Warm, delicious contact.
Are you sure we can't go out tomorrow night?
I already have plans, I said, nudging away. After a soft kiss, he said,
Let's go out tonight. Better yet, let's stay in. I can find Jessica tomorrow night.
What if she skips town? I asked. We have to find her tonight. If she flees the country, you'll never get your money back.
There's a good possibility I'll never get my money back either way.
We have to at least try, I urged. We'll go on our date in a few nights. You can wait until then.
I know, I just want you so bad it hurts.
You never know. It may be a long wait in the car. I may just reciprocate your thoughtfulness, I said with a smile and turned to leave. As I was heading out the door, I heard a distinct whimper. I couldn't help but smile smugly. Is this where Jessica lives? I asked when Caleb pulled alongside luxury condos.
No, her boyfriend lives here. I found out he is still in town. I already checked Jessica's house and she wasn't there. I think she may be hiding here.
What should we do? Do we just wait?
I don't really know.
Caleb said.
My plan was to wait and see if she comes out.
That could take a while, I said, settling into the seat for a long wait. Thankfully, the company was stimulating, potentially very stimulating. Do you know which unit he lives in?
No.
Do you know his name?
No.
Then how do you know Jessica's boyfriend lives here?
I have a hunch.
I eyed him. You have a hunch?
I'm sure she told me at one time or another.
That's not reassuring. We could be sitting here for days.
Plenty of time to reciprocate.
He grinned. We've been sitting here for 3 hours. I groaned and shifted in the seat. I'm getting stiff.
Me too. Why don't we walk around and see if we can't locate which unit it is?
I nodded and pushed open the passenger door. Sitting in a confined space with Caleb was both wonderful and stressful. We chatted and laughed until my sides hurt. It's comfortable to be with him, I reflected. It's as if we were childhood friends. Maybe it seems that way because sometimes he's mischievous and provoking, just like a young boy. It's quite endearing. However, the smoldering glances he rakes across me remind me that my hands should probably stay on my side of the car, which is quite the feat when he keeps reaching over to hold my hand and massage, stroke, and tease. He loves teasing, and I have to admit, I love it when he does. I stretched and scanned the building. Let's read the names on the door. Maybe one will sound familiar. Caleb walked around the car and slipped his hand in mine as we walked toward the building.
It might help. I can't remember if Jessica told me his name. I hate to admit it, but I tend to tune out most of what she says.
Typical man, I stated. I would have joked, but really, it's typical.
I guess I am when it comes to Jessica. She has a demanding voice, but it's the same drill over and over again. Photo shoot, models, meetings, interviews. This list goes on and on. It's easier just to look at the calendar every morning than to listen to the constant demands.
Those are things I'm glad I don't have to worry about. I can understand why you would tune her out after a while. Sometimes a person just needs a break.
I wish I could take a break. Now that my money is gone, I'll have to work hard just to recover a tenth of what I had.
Do you need starting cash? I asked. I can front you enough for the low-limit tables.
I was going to withdraw cash from my credit card. It will be enough to start with.
He said with a delayed smile.
Thank you for offering. Why don't we go tomorrow and play?
It's rare that I have an opportunity to play at the same table as Caleb. With his luck, it will only take a few days to make enough money to move his way up to a higher stakes table, leaving me in the wake of his destruction. I should take the opportunity while I could. However, I wasn't ready to sit down and play quite yet. I'll meet up with you for a couple hours, I compromised. I'm not in the frame of mind to play longer than that.
I'll take whatever time you give.
Should we meet at Tropical Rain at 2? I asked. He squeezed my hand.
Sounds perfect. I didn't want to go back to Lost City anyway. I'd hate for my competition to get wind that I'm broke.
They'd think you were down on your luck, I admitted, thinking of the feeding frenzy it would cause if anyone was dumb enough to believe Caleb could be reduced to chum. Players that have dreamed of playing against Caleb would seek him out at the tables they could afford. It'd be an amateur player's dream. He nodded.
They'd pounce if they sniffed a weakness. Little do they know I only have one weakness.
What's that? I asked, wondering if there was a secret play I had yet to learn.
You.
He said with a shy smile. That single word was a caress to the soul. I swallowed. "Shall we look at the names?" I asked, pointing to the resident listing. He glanced at the names. His finger ran down the list until he stopped at Peter Lemwise.
This name is familiar. I wonder if he could be the boyfriend.
"Should we ring the doorbell?"
It says he's in Unit 10.
Caleb peeked through glass doors.
I don't see Unit 10. I bet he's on the other side.
"Let's look and see if his lights are on." We quickly rounded the back of the building and looked through the glass doors again.
The even numbers are on our right. I see 6 and 8.
"Do you think 10 is on the second floor?" I asked, glancing at the unit above us. "There's a light on." Caleb walked a few feet from the building and looked up.
It must be. I see some movement.
"Should we wait out here and watch for a while?" I asked, scanning our surroundings. "There's a bench over there." Caleb gave a nod and we headed to the bench. He sat down and circled his arms around my waist before I could sit. He pulled me to stand in between his legs, nuzzling into my belly. My fingers raked through his thick, wavy hair.
I was thinking about what you said the other night.
Caleb mumbled, still buried in my hoodie. "What was that?" I asked absent-mindedly. His silky strands wound their way through my fingers.
That you want a real relationship.
He said, lifting the hoodie enough to kiss my exposed stomach.
That you love me.
My fingers stalled. I'd rather not relive that moment. And I never said I wanted a relationship. I was asking what you wanted.
I distinctly heard you say you want a relationship with me.
He said, looking up with knowing blue eyes. I was tired. I must have had jet lag that night, I said, excusing my behavior. The way his eyes delved into mine made me want to confess.
Nadia, I know what I heard and I'm happy. I want to be in a relationship with you. I want to be the only man in your life. I want you. You and only you. Say you'll be mine.
Oh, damn. My knees nearly buckled. What happened to starting at the beginning?
Say something,
he said, pulling me down on his lap. I wanted to start at the beginning. We never had a beginning.
Yes, we did. Do you remember when we first met a few years back?
You took my money, I said sourly. He smiled.
I seem to recall taking everyone's money that night. We were heads up, just you and me sitting at a table. How long did we play? It must have been 3 hours.
4.
And during that time we talked and laughed. Do you remember the evil stares directed at us?
Yes. The handful of girls there were glaring at me since I was tabled with the newly titled Sexiest Man of Poker, and the men were glaring because we were too loud.
I remember that night vividly. Do you know I laid down winning hands just so I could sit with you longer? I couldn't wait to play you again. Had I known I wouldn't see you again until years later, I would have asked for your number.
He smiled fondly.
That was our beginning.
I nodded. A great beginning. Though winning that round would have made for a better beginning. I can't believe he'd tossed hands for me and I still lost. I wish I would have known he was interested then. It hadn't seemed like he had treated me any differently than any of the other women there. He treated each one to the same flirtatious smile. After that, I had avoided him so I wouldn't get trounced again. Then you won't mind going on a few dates with me, I said, still remembering the night I met him. It's important to me.
I'll do whatever you want me to. I'll go on 1,000 dates just to be with you.
He captured my mouth with his, lightly grazing his tongue on my lips until I gave in and kissed back. His tongue delved into my mouth as he took command over the kiss in a deliriously wicked way that made me forget to breathe. He pulled back after a few minutes with a soft chuckle.
So much for our stakeout. All we've done so far is talk and kiss.
Then perhaps we can consider this our first date.
I'd like that,
he said, bringing me in for another kiss. I was lost.